November 13th, 2025, meeting of the Board of Commission. We will start off as we always do, especially. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, it's nice that we could all be here. Never mind. Why is my voice not ringing true?
I don't know.
Hello? Did it? Yeah.
Check.
No, you can't hear me?
Let me restart this.
You can hear me, but not through the.
Let me restart this.
What a small lady. Well, no, here's a joke for us. Okay.
I'll do a little dancing.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, maybe you can get it on top of the table up there. Oh.
Yeah.
Whoops. Can't be on spot. That's Sunday.
There we go.
Pretty sure. Mine.
There we go.
Okay. By golly, I think we got it to work. Ah. All right, moving right along. I am Candace Payne. I am the chair of this little Ruby group. To my immediate left is Commissioner Tom Rolfe. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Chair Payne.
And to his left is Brandi, our recording secretary. And to her left is Jenny Chambers, who is head of our planning department and head of our what is it? Oh, public works. I knew it was some little thing. Anyway, welcome, Jenny. And to my left, or to my right, is Captain America. No, Andy Hunthausen. Good morning, Andy. To his right is the dudes from the county attorney's office, Nico Hash and TJ Murphy, I'm sorry, TJ. And Mr. Robert Falls is our CAO. Good morning to all of you. Then, we have a sign-in sheet right on the table right there in front of these police officers, sheriffs. Yes, well, anyway, that's where the sign-in sheet is. And if you would hit the sign in, and you can pick up an agenda so you can follow along. All right, first of all, we start with the consent action items. Roger, generally lead us on this.
Thank you, Chair Payne and Commissioners. This is item 2A on the agenda this morning. It's public meeting minutes for October 23, 28, and 30th, 2025. Staff recommends approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions in the commission? Seeing none, is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, could I have a motion?
Chair Payne, I would move to approve the then action item 2A public meeting minutes for October 23, 28, 30, 2025 as explained by Roger Ball. Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve these consent action item 2A as presented by Roger Balls. Is there any further discussion from the commission? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Moving into our action items. This is really fun. Item number 3A, grant award to Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office from the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Community Oriented Policing Services. I bet there's an acronym there somewhere. And presenting to this is Brian Robinson.
Chair Payne, good morning, Commissioners. I'm Captain Brian Robinson with the Sheriff's Office.
First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to consider this grant award. This is a very important project of mine and several others at the sheriff's office. We were lucky enough to apply for this grant, and we were awarded with $196,282 with no match requirement, which I think is pretty amazing. The purpose of this grant is to help the members of the sheriff's office, detention officers, sworn deputies, our civilian staff, who are former division, and their families help with the mental health crisis that we suffer almost on a daily basis with the false response. Some of the things that we want to do is we want to increase and formalize our peer support program so we can have those peers that can mentor and help people when they are going through crisis without having to worry about initially trying to find professional health services. Secondly, we want to find a culturally competent mental health professional or professionals that we can refer our staff to when they actually need mental health therapy on a professional level. And then third, we want to provide comprehensive training for command staff to recognize and address mental health concerns. We all have been aware of the mental health crisis going throughout the nation. It's becoming more and more obvious that our first responders are also subject to mental health crisis, and now we are finally taking the bull by the horns and trying to do something about it. And then last, which is very important in my eyes, is establish a data-driven early intervention system to identify at-risk personnel and provide proactive support. We want to provide them the help and the service that they need before something goes bad, before they start into drinking too much alcohol, they start gambling, or what we don't want to happen is ever be suicidal and take their own life. Fortunately, we've never been down that road. I don't want to get there, and I want that early intervention system to go on. So please, we're asking you, our staff has reviewed the grant, the award, we're asking you to accept it. Once again, it's $196,282 with no match. It's a 2-year period, which runs from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2027. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have in regard to this stuff.
Of course, I have a question. One of the items that you discussed on your opening was the need to integrate a licensed, culturally competent mental health professional. Could you kind of give me a little explanation of what you mean by culturally competent?
I will. This is a new term as well to me. So we went to the first ever first responder mental health and wellness summit that was held in Kalispell in September. And this is when this definition of a culturally competent mental health provider was introduced to us. So what it is a group of therapists who have gone to specific training that allows them to understand the issues that first responders and our veterans experience, the traumatic events. So it's not like a family therapist trying to deal with what veterans and law enforcement or first responders go through. They get specific trainings on things that we experience and are provided ways in which they can help us.
And will these people, the people who are culturally competent mental health professionals, and are being integrated into agency operations, are we hiring people specifically to serve Lewis and Clark County, or is this how many of these people are available? Or do we have to, is there gonna have to be 20 of them?
So right now we're kind of in that process. I've been talking with Ann McCauley and Casey Hayes in depth about how we're going to go about this. I think that what we're going to do is we're going to put it out for bid for contracts, and we're going to let those therapists who feel that they qualify, because we have to come up with criteria of what these therapists have to have. They will submit in their packet of their qualifications, and then we will move from there whether or not they get awarded contracts to provide the services.
And are you talking one contract, or are you gonna have multiple? How many people are we putting on this project?
We don't know. We think there has to be more than one, because as we know.
Yeah.
One therapist doesn't fit everybody. I may like a particular person and Lieutenant Holman may not. They might not jive, so we're thinking anywhere between 3 to 5, hopefully. We get that many. They could come from anywhere in the state of Montana, I'm guessing. I know there are several here locally that are just trying to get into the culturally competent training. It's relatively new, it's something new to all of us. So I don't know how many there are out there locally. I do know there are at least 3 in the state. We got to meet them in September. Unfortunately, they're nowhere, they're not near Helena, they're in the western part, Kalispell, Missoula, Anaconda area, but there were several people from the Helena, Lewis and Clark area that were at the conference that are therapists that are very interested in getting the training to be able to serve the first responder.
This is just a really interesting project, and I can imagine the benefit once we get this rolling, so thank you and Ann and all the people that have worked on it. Andy, do you have any questions?
Chair Payne, thanks, Catherine. Full support, glad that we're at this crossroads, it's great, so, and glad that we were awarded the grant and happy to support it as we go forward here. Just a question about the comprehensive training for the command staff. I think that's one of the important things, going to be really helping those in charge recognize the need, and I don't think talk about culture. I think the traditional culture is, buck up, beat up. So it's great that we're recognizing this as not a weakness, but a way to support the people that work really difficult positions. That comprehensive training, that exists already, or is that something that's to be developed? You were at the conference, I'm sure there's people that have already been getting trained, command staff that are getting trained to recognize something, warning signs and all that. Can you
Yes,
talk about that a little bit?
Yep, so there hasn't been a whole lot of training specific to our agency as of yet. Some of us have been lucky enough to find online stuff that we have read and researched on our own. So that is something that we are going to be looking for, to bring somebody in that can talk to our supervisors or executive command staff about the early warning signs, so we can get ahead of the problem before we get a huge problem.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Tom, do you have anything?
No, I guess just a comment that I really appreciate the fact that you're being proactive in this area. I can only imagine the stress that can come in certain instances in your line of work, and I think it's good that we're being there trying to support folks to help them get through difficult situations. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Is there any public comment on this matter? Seeing no public comment, could we have a motion, please?
Chair Payne, I move that we approve the grant award to Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office from the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Community Oriented Policing Services as presented by Catherine Roberts.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve action item 3A, grant award, as explained by Captain Brian Robertson. Is there any further comment or question from the commission? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Chair Payne. I have 1 minute of your time before we
You
move
bet you
on.
can.
I just want to take a moment to recognize 3 people that are in the room. Lieutenant Holman, he's been step by step with me this entire project. He and I have a long history together. We grew up here in Helena together, went to the same high school, started this job almost 10 years apart from one another. After high school, we've experienced a lot of traumatic things where I almost lost him because of things that happened. He is one person that is truly behind this project 110%, and he has done a lot to help me. The second person is Ann McCauley. For 2 years in a row now, she has helped us do this grant. Last year we weren't awarded it. This year we were, with her help, side by side with us, providing recommendations and some edits to our language. Obviously, she did a great job and helped us get this grant. And number three, she doesn't know it yet, but Sherry Martin is going to be instrumental into the success of this program. $196,000 is a lot to keep track of, and we're going to be counting on her. She does a fantastic job anyway. So I want to thank the three of them for being here today and being side by side with me in this project.
Thank you, Captain Robbins.
Thank you.
Great. That's a nice start to early morning, isn't it? Okay, action item 3B, grant award to Lewis and Clark Public Health from the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. And it is being presented by our friend Sarah Sandau. Thanks, Sarah.
Good morning, Chair Payne, members of the commission. I'm Sarah Sandau, the grant specialist for Lewis and Clark Public Health. Today I have before you a grant award from the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services for their Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant in the amount of $10,000 to support local public health response to influenza A, H5N1, and influenza A virus with pandemic potential and other potential respiratory disease threats to communities. The grant period is September 15th, 2025, although we just received it, through January 15th, 2026. So it is a very quick turnaround grant. The purpose of this task order is to provide extra resources to local public health to support preparedness and response activities for avian influenza, AH5N1, novel influenza, and other respiratory disease. Since 2024, there have been 70 avian influenza cases and 1 death in the United States. None have been in Montana. At this time, there is no person-to-person spread of avian influenza. All cases have become sick from contact with infected livestock. The most updated numbers and data for avian influenza can be found on the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website. Lewis and Clark Public Health would like to use these funds to purchase a pharmaceutical-grade refrigerator for vaccines, data loggers required for temperature monitoring, portable coolers, use some of the funds for community education and outreach, especially to those who integrate with livestock, and if needed, case investigation and contact tracing. Staff recommends approval and here's the question.
I'm trying to figure out infected livestock. I always knew there was something on that old stuff. What kind of livestock would catch this? Chickens?
That's a great question, Commissioner Payne. I believe it's chickens or cows or, I believe.
Cows can catch the flu.
Avian flu, I believe, but let me double check that.
Okay, I think the livestock are people amongst us would be curious. Okay, is there any further question from the commission?
If I may.
Mr. Tom?
I just, maybe a little clarification, it's a fairly small grant, but just trying to have equipment there in case something would happen. And maybe that equipment will be good for other medicines and whatnot as well.
Thank you, Chair Payne, Commissioner Hall. Yeah, the pharmaceutical grade refrigerator could hold any of our vaccine or testing equipment for any of our influenza, including.
And you don't currently have something like that?
No, we don't. Well, we do, but it needs replaced. So it's time for it to be replaced regardless. So this grant is perfect.
Thank
And does this grant provide enough funding to pay for the whole thing?
Thank you, Commissioner. That for all of it, yes. And now, of course, if there was a lot of contact tracing or time spent that we weren't expecting, you might go about that. But as there's no cases in Montana right now, this would be plenty to cover the refrigerator, the coolers, the data loggers, and some community outreaches.
Okay. Any further questions? Seeing none, is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, I would entertain motion.
Chair Payne, I would move to approve the grant award to Lewis and Clark Public Health from the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services as explained by Sarah Sandau.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve action item 3B, grant award to Lewis and Clark Public Health from the Montana Department of Public Health Services as explained by Sarah Sandau. Is there any further comment from the commission? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, Sarah. Next on our agenda, 3C contract between Lewis and Clark County and Summit Roofing by Mr. Matt McCarty.
Morning, Chair, Commissioner, Mike McCarty, Lewis and Clark County Building. Before you this morning is a contract with Summit Roofing to remove the existing roof and replace it with 60 mil mechanically attached thermoplastic polyethylene on the Lincoln shop. The contract for this kind and materials not to exceed $31,110, and work will be completed by May 31st, 2026. Budget authority for this work is in the fiscal year 2026 road capital budget. Staff recommends approval of this contract with Summit Roofing for $31,110. Authorized the chair to sign.
Thank you. Any comment from the commission? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, I would entertain a motion.
Chair Payne, I move that we approve the contract between Lewis and Clark County and Summit Roofing as presented by Mr. Fox.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this contract with Summit Roofing. Is there any further comment or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving this contract indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously approving the contract with Summit Roofing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Oh, she's back. Next item on our agenda is action item 3B, contract between Lewis and Clark County and Connell's Creations LLC. Jessica Makis, go for it, Jessica.
Thank you, Chair Payne. Good morning. My name is Jessica Makis, Special District Coordinator for Lewis and Clark County. Before you this morning is a contract with Connell's Creations LLC to provide snow removal and related maintenance within various rural improvement districts throughout Lewis and Clark County. Work under this contract will be completed on an on-call basis as the need for this maintenance arises in RID. This maintenance was solicited through a request for qualifications advertised in the Helena Independent Record on September 20th and September 27th, 2025. Statements of qualifications, or SOQs, were accepted and unsealed on a rolling basis beginning Monday, October 6th, 2025, and the acceptance period closed on October 20th, 2025. This type of solicitation was used with the intent to create a roster of qualified contractors to work with through the 2025-2026 winter season. Because we accepted these SOQs on a rolling basis, the contracts have been negotiated and developed also on a rolling basis. And excuse me, based on the information that was included in those SOQs. We received a total of 20 SOQs and 18 contracts have already been presented prior to this meeting. There is a final contract that will be presented to you all once it's signed by the contractor. It will be done. So staff recommend approval of the contract with Connell's Creations LLC and authorize the chair to sign the contract document. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Jessica. Are there any questions? Andy? Tom?
Yes.
Oh, Tom, go.
Just, kind of, this is kind of continuation of this is the final one of the group. We've done 6 or 8 at a time for several times to get this set up. That is the last one, is that right?
Chair Payne, Commissioner Ralph, not quite. This is number 19 of 20. So we have one final remaining contract. So we can quick get on this agenda. So one more to come, and then we will be wrapped up. The final one that we're waiting for is a contractor that just filed one single RID. So it's not as critical that we get it in place with some of these other contracts that will oversee multiple RIDs, but we are almost done.
And if I might, we have well over 100 RIDs that need to be serviced, and most of them are related to road condition and road maintenance. So when it snows, we need to have a lot of help.
Chair Payne, Commissioner Ralph, that's correct. So we have closer to about 150 RIDs, and as you said, primarily most of those are road RIDs. So we are pretty close. We have the list ready to go, and we're getting there. So
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, I would entertain a motion.
Chair Payne, I would move to approve the contract with Lewis and Clark County and Arnold Creations LLC as explained by Jessica Payne.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve this contract with Thomas Creations LLC as presented by Jessica Makis. Is there any further comment from the commission? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving this contract indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 3E is Lincoln Area Shooting Range Support Letter, and this will be explained to us by Mr. Brian Pastor. Thank you for coming in, Brian.
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Just having further comment as far as we went through this Friday in Lincoln at Government Day, Friday, the November 7th. I'm here today to confirm that we could get support, hoping to get support from county commissioners. As you know, the people of Lincoln in the upper Blackfoot Valley area need to and do not currently have a permanent gun range or shooting range. And we're hoping to have your support in us trying to obtain state property, a section of state property in the Lincoln area, so we can build a range. I believe there's been a letter drafted that we would like to sign, and hoping that you do. I make a comment other than we did present that. Thank you for today.
Okay, I'm glad you're here because I've had some questions. And any questions?
Chair Payne. Mr. Catherine. Thanks for being appreciated. We did have a lot of discussion in Lincoln on Friday and kind of described it, but for those that might be watching today that don't have any of that background, just a bit about what you're trying to do and who's behind it, and kind of you have a pretty good coalition of people that are working on your sportsman's group and kind of what you want to do. You can have, I think, several folks that are certified professional trainers even were talking at the meeting, I think, that want to help the youth learn how to shoot properly and handle weapons properly. So just a little bit about what your plan is, I think, for those that might be watching today.
Well, thank you, Commissioner, for the question. What we currently have is a range that is on private land. We had 2 till this year, for our use. We because on private property, they were concerned about their liabilities. But anyway, because of that, we have been looking for a range for, since actually 2015, I think what was incorporated. What we're looking for is a piece of property where we can set up a range that would have a clubhouse, so we can have meetings. Also, we would like to then build a rifle range, pistol range, trap range, bow and arrow range. We also have a BB gun range right now, but really no place to set it up to teach youth. What we're looking for is all of that so we can train people on the proper use of weapons. Also, we have NRA certified trainers that can certify people for concealed carry. And especially women have been signing up for that. We have had some classes for that. And it's done very well, but without facilities, it's very hard for us to accomplish. So that is our hope, to get a piece of property and actually build a range with a clubhouse and everything else, and make it available for people to learn how to handle weapons properly. Make an area that we can police, keep clean, so we don't have people out shooting in rural areas, just to sight in rifles and so forth, and creating a lot of problems and possibly hurting somebody. Also, that we would contain the trash and the other problems that happen with that. So that is our hope.
Sure.
And
Just to be clear, not asking the county for anything in terms of being involved or money or any kind of connection to the activities, only for a letter of support saying we support Lincoln in their efforts to find a safe place to do these activities. Correct?
That is correct, Commissioner. We're not asking for any monies. We're just asking strictly for your support so we can obtain these properties.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Tom?
And just a comment, this really hits home to me. I was raised in a family where my dad came back from the South Pacific after World War II and gave away all of his weapons. So I was raised in a family that had that, but had always wanted to learn a little bit more. Didn't really have it easy to do. When I got into the service, my drill sergeant pulled me aside and said, "Are you sure you're from Montana?" He said, "You're the worst shot of anybody I ever met from Montana." So I thought if I'd had access to a range like this, maybe I'd had a little better, in a little better shape when I got into the service.
Yeah, well, appreciate that. I know that we had a person testify Friday, Melissa Gary. She is ex-military, and she stated there that definitely weapons handling before you get into the service, huge benefit. You know, very well at it. Yeah.
And I also found my father impressed that there are teachers from the high school up there that are going to put on some classes for young people as well.
We've been approached by Nancy Schwam. She's a teacher in Lincoln, and she also has an outdoor kind of sportsman club. She puts together, they go on field trips. And it was asked of us if we had any way that we could teach kids to do trap shooting, because kids that are in that wanting to do that. Well, we don't have facilities, we said we could support it, but that's the best we could. They wanted to come down possibly. We did have there is a trap house up in Lincoln on private property, and they said that may be able to use that, but concern came up as far as liability, so that did not happen. I mean, we would like to have that, and so would we. But yes, we would definitely appreciate your support. We think it would be very helpful for our area. I know Sheriff Dutton has also signed off a letter of support for him, and he's very enthused about it. In fact, that then they could use that also as training for that. So law enforcement, game wardens, all of them have been supportive of it. We have letters showing. So, appreciate your time.
You're not done yet. I have a couple questions. Are there other private shooting ranges of this nature in the state?
They're not, yes, there's a few. We have one that I know of. Sure what it's called, but it's down south of Boulder. High or I believe the name of it. There is Prickly Pear Shooting Association. It's on McDonald Pass currently. They're kind of having a problem. They do not own property, so it's allowed to have it on Forest Service land. And right now they're hoping to just maintain that. Forest Service is, they having problems keeping in place at this time. It might get removed, they might not be able to.
So that's on federal land.
It's on federal land, Forest Service, and they do not own it. That lease is coming due when they don't know what they're gonna be able to.
Okay. On this shooting range, is there a building, a facility?
We have no
Bathroom?
facilities, we haven't even really chosen a piece of property, we have several. Right? We're working with the Montana Shooting Sports Association. Gary Miller is the president of that, and he more or less is directing how we are going to proceed to acquire this. So my task has been to get support letters out and get people to sign on. To get further with that, he has to actually take it to the governor and work on down from there. So that's why the more letters of support we have, we're hoping that we get their support. As far as private ranges, the only other one I know of fairly close is one in Lewis Townhouse. I do not know of how many.
I guess as a county commissioner, I'm looking at things that are going to either bring in taxes or that will require support. And so I'm a little, and so do you have any idea, is this, if the shooting range is put on state land, does that indicate there won't be, or is there gonna be property taxes impacted one way or another, or have you?
To my knowledge, that would be correct.
Which,
That yes, if the gun club owns that property, then we would be responsible for property taxes. We currently have a fair amount of money that we would be applying towards that to build a clubhouse and so forth. We've had several years now where we have put on banquets to gain funds. And right now, we're well over $280,000 in funds to go forward to try and build all of this facility. But what we need is,
so glad to hear that.
yeah, we wouldn't be asking the county for any money, but I'm sure we'll be paying tax.
Okay, those are music to my ears and, the kind of thing that county commissioners are supposed to be on the lookout for. Is there any further comments or questions?
Just one thing, I did finally qualify, and when I was in the service, but it took them a long time to get me there. And so if you'll be doing a good thing for the armed services, if you help a few kids like I was, so
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, could I do public comment? Okay. And we've got a motion on the table. We don't have a motion. No public comment yet? Oh, good. Is there any public comment? There's a suspicious looking lady in the background. She looks like she's gonna run right. Is it? No. Never mind. Is there any further public comment? Seeing no public comment, then we need a motion, please.
Chairman, I move that we support the rightful letter of support for the Lincoln shooting range effort as presented.
second,
It's been moved and seconded that the Lewis and Clark County Commission sign a letter of support for the Lincoln Sportsman Club in their attempt to establish a shooting range in their area and in our county. They're not asking for money. All those in favor, is there any further comment from the commission? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. And again, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
Okay, that is the end of our agenda. At this point, I'm going to ask for any public comment on any public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda above. Seeing no public comment, meeting is adjourned.